Hello, hello. How are you? To remind me again, I'm trying to remember who you are. IGN. Your username looks familiar, but I'm forgetting who it's connected to. Oh, that's right. That's right, Jay. Got it. Got it. University of Toronto researchers create mirror image peptides that can neutralize SARS-CoV-2. So I'm kind of curious what this is about. Researchers at the University of Toronto have created chemical compounds that can neutralize SARS-CoV-2 and several of its variants. Okay, I'm trying to curious, how does the peptide neutralize? Like bind to it? Known as mirror image peptides, the compounds have chemical properties that make them suitable for the development of low-cost antiviral therapeutics. A big advantage of mirror image peptides is their long stability and that they are relatively cheap to produce. You could imagine them being formulated as a nasal spray to take prophylactically to prevent infection from occurring. Peptides are similar to proteins. Well, they're the rudimentary. A peptide is just maybe an unfolded protein, in that they're composed of the same amino acid building blocks, but they are smaller than proteins, and they can be designed to bind virtually any molecular target and with greater specificity than small molecule drugs, reducing the risk of side effects. In this way, peptides are similar to antibodies, while an antibody is a peptide. Right? Or it's a protein. Cheers, Erebus. How are you? Yeah, it's just a... Not great. You hate to hear it. What's going on, man? Yikes. Oh no. Trying to hit diamond. Wait, diamond is it's iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, master, grandmaster, challenger. Is that right? Well, okay, if it's really affecting your mental state, and what's the point? So like, is it just, are you like caught in that situation of like just trying to achieve something, or is it more like the addictive nature of it, but that's like taking a toll? Yeah, it's amino acids. Okay. Okay. I know diamond is that's like a big step, like to go from platinum to diamond. Top 1%. What are they called? League? No, not leagues. In each rank? Yeah. Is this right? So it looks like most people sit in silver and gold, and then it's a big drop off to platinum, and then another big drop off to diamond. This is from 2021. Not that many people in iron. To be honest, iron looks pretty competitive. Only 1.99% of players are in iron. Maybe shoot for iron if you want that 1%. Right, okay, because so within each rank, there's 4 sub-ranks. Okay. Or divisions, yeah. Interesting. Well, I mean, I guess diamond would be like a cool achievement because it is sort of like that is like a pretty top tier. Like you've kind of yeah, like going from there to there is pretty big. It's a basically you've right, it's like a hard push there. But I mean, if your mental health is taking a hit, it's not worth it. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you get to diamond. What can you really? I mean, it's kind of a cool personal achievement. Maybe it's sort of like just sort of validates the time you put in to an extent to show like, yeah, I really did kind of get to that top tier. But also, what is that going to do for you in the long run? Is that something you're going to write on your resume? I mean, maybe. But I don't know. I think your mental health is more important than achieving diamond, to be honest. Okay, so an antibody is a amino acid chain. Got it. So an antibody is a protein. And so I think what's going on here is these researchers are basically making little peptides, which are like little sequences of amino acids that are going to be able to bind to things kind of like an antibody does. So an antibody is just like a little small protein that will like stick to things dependent upon its shape. And so I guess what this is like a synthetic antibody almost. So peptides are similar to antibodies, but are at least 100 times cheaper to produce thanks to their small size. So it's a tiny antibody that's synthetically produced, kind of. The combination of low cost and easy scaling of manufacturing made peptides attractive, particularly for low-income countries. Cool. But there's a caveat. In the body, peptides are rapidly degraded by the enzymes that have evolved to stamp out harmful versions produced by bacteria and other pathogens. But science has found a solution in mirror image peptides that are resistant to degradation. For reasons that remain unclear, all naturally occurring amino acids exist in a left-handed configuration as defined by the direction in which they rotate. Consequently, all proteins and peptides are also left-handed, known as L-peptides. So we just flip the peptide, and all of a sudden your body's like, I don't know what to do with this, and so it sneaks by getting degraded. Interesting. Yeah, you could jump to next season. I would say if you feel like it's going to be a better like less strain on your mental health, I would definitely do it. A few years ago, the Kim's team developed a computational tool for design these mirror image molecules are manufactured from synthetic D amino acids strung together in the same way as the left-handed counterparts. Using Kim's design method, they can be engineered to bind the same targets with undiminished specificity. The main difference is that their unusual geometry makes them resistant to enzymes in the bloodstream that break down normal L-peptides. The prospect of working with D-peptides is what enticed postdoctoral research Pedro Valente to join Kim's lab 1 year prior to the pandemic. When COVID-19 struck, he quickly realized that they could apply their tool to try to make antivirals for COVID. By May 2020, Valiente had already created the compounds that would prove to be potent inhibitors of the virus, although it took another year to verify that they work as expected in human cells. Valiente designed several D peptides that mimic the region of the virus spike that binds to ACE2. So basically, when we get the vaccine is delivering, at least the mRNA ones, like the Pfizer and Moderna, are delivering the mRNA for the virus spike, and then our body creates antibodies for that virus spike. And so they made a D peptide that also binds to the virus spike. So they're like bypassing triggering the immune system. So this would be they're calling this an antiviral as a prophylactic, because you would take it and it would like inhibit the virus from getting into your cells. Basically, it would bind to this spike, then it can't bind to the ACE2 receptor on your cell, and it would block it from entering your cell, which would mean it can't replicate in your body, which would sort of stamp out its spread. So this is not something that you would use after the fact, probably after infection, which is why it's a prophylactic before. He reasoned that the peptides will bind to the receptor before the virus makes contact with it, thereby preventing infection. Okay, good, just what it said. The hypothesis was later confirmed by the experiments with cultured human cells that were carried out by collaborators. What's more, the peptides worked just as well against several variants, alpha, beta, gamma, which wreaked havoc over the past years after first breaking the UK, blah, blah, blah. Although the research did not investigate the Delta variant, other evidence suggests that it too would be susceptible to the peptide drugs. While we focused on the variants that were circulating at the time we were doing this work, the peptides should work on Delta as well, based on the similarity with its receptor binding domain. Valiente says the experience working with Kim's labs was blah, 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 blah. By the time the researchers published their findings, however, several treatments had become available, including antivirals, antibody cocktails, and vaccines. Prompted by these global advances, the team has shifted focus from COVID-19 to trying to create compounds that target all coronaviruses, including SARS and MERS. Okay, so it looks like this is something that's, I don't know. If like prophylactics are something that are hard to use, because you have to kind of either be using them just all the time, just in case you get infected, or you have to like know if you've like when to use them, which is not easy because you don't know when you get infected. It's an interesting thought, but toxic fracking waste is leaking into California's groundwater. Great. Chevron has long dominated oil production in Lost Hills, a massive fossil fuel reserve in Central California. So Lost Hills, I'm guessing, is the place you drive past as you're going down the 101. No, I'm wrong. Down to 5. Okay, a massive fossil fuel reserve in Central California that was accidentally discovered by water drillers a century ago. The company routinely pumps hundreds of thousands of gallons of water mixed with a special concoctions of chemicals into the ground at high pressure to shake up shale deposits and release oil and gas. The process, called hydraulic fracturing or fracking, produces thousands of barrels of oil every day, but it also leaves the company saddled with millions of gallons of wastewater laced with toxic chemicals, salts, and heavy metals. Between the late 1950s and 2008, Chevron disposed much of the slurry produced in Lost Hills in 8 cavernous impoundments at its Section 29 facility. Okay, so this is just the EPA. Oh no, sorry, California Environmental Protection Agency. So the EPA. Documentation on the facility. Got it. Okay, so just got it. Euphemistically called ponds. The impoundments have a combined surface area of 26 acres, okay, and do not have synthetic liners. Wow. How can they not have synthetic liners? Doesn't make any sense. That meant that over time, salts and chemicals in the wastewater could leak into the ground and nearby water sources like the California Aqueduct, a network of canals that delivers water to farms in the Central Valley and cities like Los Angeles. And that's exactly what happened. According to new research published in the academic journal Environmental Science and Technology, carcinogenic chemicals like benzene and toluene, as well as other hydrocarbons, have been detected within a half of a kilometer of the facility, about 1.7 kilometers northwest of the facility. Chloride and salt levels are more than 6 times and 4 times greater than background levels, respectively. The research leaves little doubt the contaminants are migrating toward the aqueduct. Clearly, there's an impact to groundwater resources there, said Dominic DiGiulio, lead author of the paper and a researcher for nonprofit physician scientist engineer. At the Section 29 facility, you have to go 1.8 kilometers away from the facility to find background water quality. That's pretty far. The facility shuttered in 2008 and it no longer accepts wastewater. Chevron has continued to monitor the containment plume and submits yearly water quality reports to the Central Valley Regional Water Control Board. In 2019, the company claimed it would cost more than $800,000 to monitor the plume and report to the regulator for the next 30 years. Jonathan Harshman, a spokesman for Chevron, said the company was reviewing the study and that it has complied and will continue to comply with the Central Valley Water Board's requirements. Section 29 facility is an isolated case. Between 1977 and 2007, over 16 billion barrels of oil-filled waste was disposed in unlined ponds. The vast majority of these are located outside of Bakersfield in the state's Central Valley. According to Julio's research, there are at least 1,850 wastewater ponds in the San Joaquin Valley's Tulare Basin. Of those, 85% are unlined, and about 1/4 are active, like the Section 29 facility. However, despite not being operational, many of them may be leaking. Wells that monitor groundwater quality are few and far between, so it's difficult to know the exact scope of the pollution. But DiGiulio warns that the ponds constitute potential wide-scale legacy groundwater. This month's study is the first to quantify the number of unlined pits in California and analyze their effects. The findings bolster 2015 research. California appears to be the only state that permits operators to store the waste in unlined pits. Interesting. This is like pretty rough. What's up, Nyonika? How are you? Thanks for the birthday wish. Appreciated it. And I know that I said med school, but yeah, you're still pre-med, I suppose. But I imagine it's like still not easy. Pre-med is pretty tough too, especially once you get into the upper level classes, I imagine. I've been doing pretty good. I just got back into jiu-jitsu last week, so I've been going, 3 or 4 times a week, and it's been pretty good. Feeling good about it, which is I think it's like a long time coming. I haven't really been exercising for the last couple of weeks. I think it was just a good return to actually getting some like just general exercise. Yeah, thanks, Jay. My voice is it's fine. It's still a little bit deeper than it normally is, but it's pretty much back to normal. It's definitely not like it was last week, so all good. I don't know what happened. It was really strange to sort of shift from like that. I guess it was just from jiu-jitsu. But so your third year graduating. So once you graduate, do you have plans after that? Are you heading off to a med school? Are you taking a break? Or have you not thought that far ahead? There's never any good news about climate change. Like it's always like it's always like it's always like what we need to do is still not enough. Like nothing seems ever like enough. The world's nations are failing to meet the moment. The Emissions Gap Report. With climate change intensifying and scientists warning that humanity is running out of time to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees over pre-industrial levels, 2021 has been a fraught year. You're going to go to med school directly, taking the MCAT in March. Nice. So when do you apply to med school? Because if you're graduating this year, like if it's like high school, you usually apply in the beginning of in the first semester of your senior year for a college. So I would imagine, wouldn't you be applying for med schools in the first semester of your graduating year? But you're saying you're taking the MCAT in March, and I'm assuming they need the score. Do you just apply and then send the score after? Good news is not popular in media. That is true. Good news is not popular in the media. But it seems like climate change is one of those things that even in like academic literature that you wouldn't call like the media, there's not much good news. So the UN, right, releases this report that you can download. So they have this like big old full report here. Oh, it's downloading a PDF. Let's see, how many pages? 112 pages. The heat is on. A world of climate promise is not yet delivered. So essentially, this is like an indictment of the entire world. This is the UN telling the world, like, y'all, we're messing up. The heat is on. We have a world of climate promises that have not been delivered. So the emissions gap, meaning like we are emitting more than we can. There's a gap here in terms of our goals. So you're going to are you already sent the primary, send the score after? Okay, makes sense, I guess. So you've sent your initial stuff out, and then you just take the MCAT. So are you going to be like studying all of this semester? Or are you going to wait to study until like maybe January, February? Later, Jay. Wow. So you are working at a lab and interning at a hospital. Got it. Sounds like a lot to be going to school, interning, and working. Your schedule must be like maxed. I hope you're able to find time to decompress a little. Oh, you've been studying since summer. So that's like so you basically just been studying for like almost a whole year. Wild. But, you know, you hear about the MCAT being like very, very difficult. So I guess it makes sense. What up, Rod? College is pricey. That is no doubt. Physics has been fun. Nice. This actually isn't that long of an art. This is actually not that long. It's only 62 pages. 62 pages. So this is like readable. I'm trying to decide if this is something that I really want to read. I probably should read this. Because this just came out like yesterday. And this covers like the entire state of climate change right now in terms of like each chapter. So if we look at the chapters, where's the table of contents? Wait, where's the table of contents? Here it is. So we've got a chapter on the trends in emissions and pledges, our net zero emission target, the emission gap, our COVID-19 fiscal recovery measures, bridging or extending the emission. Like, so how has COVID affected the whole situation? The role of methane emissions, as in particular, as opposed to CO2. And then the last chapter is the role of market mechanisms in bridging. Like, how can we, politically and economically move forward? It's probably a pretty good read. I should read this. I'm going to save this and read it later. Yeah, Monte Vista's COVID situation is pretty good overall. I would say there's a lot of effort done by like custodial staffs and everybody in general to like keep things pretty sanitary. So, you know, all the protocols in regards to like things are wiped down daily. They change like the HEPA, these HEPA, like high level HEPA, like the best level HEPA air filters in the buildings. I think every 2 months they change them, and they do obviously masks. Social distancing, no. Obviously, you can't really social distance in a classroom with 36 people because everyone's like right next to each other when they're sitting. But we got masks, and then yeah, I mean, so for the most part, it's pretty good. I think we've had a few cases here and there, but as soon as it's identified, they have to stay at home until the for the 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks, right, for the infection to clear. The only one that I've heard of, the only time I got a notification that a student in my class had anything, it was a false positive. Anyway, so it ended up being nothing. But yeah, I agree with you, Rod. The masks are irritating. Like my nose gets itchy all the time under the mask, so I really don't enjoy it. But I'm not too concerned. I got my booster shot on Sunday of last week, so I think I'm feeling pretty protected. We're allowed to get tested too. Like every week, you can get tested. I don't do it, but I know some teachers that just get tested every week just to be sure, just to see. You don't have social distancing. There's only sitting shoulder to shoulder with 500 people in a lecture hall for 2 hours. Yikes! You have 2+ hour lectures. Wait, so you're sitting and listening to a 2 hour lecture? How can you pay attention for 2 hours? I feel like if I lecture in class for longer than 30 minutes, I'm like starting to see tune outs. Like I feel like 30 to 30 minutes is like my max, maybe 45. You feel like masks makes a lot of kids insecure about their looks. Wait, when you say insecure about their looks, you mean like they don't like the way they look with a mask? Or do you feel like they're going to be insecure about their looks when they have to take a mask off? Like they can hide behind the mask? Because I could see the second one being true, right? Like if let's say someone's insecure about their looks, they might be actually enjoying the situation right now because they're able to actually cover up half their face. Like I think back to when I was in high school and I didn't have the worst like acne of all time, but I definitely had acne enough to where I was like self-conscious about it. And if I could have worn a mask to cover that up, I think I probably would have felt way more happy. I would have felt relatively happy. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like that, you know. Yeah, there's finals this year, Rod. It's definitely finals. Some teachers might make it an optional final. I don't know. I think it just depends on the class for how the final is structured. But there's not like a universal final, optional final this year. So how do you, so Nyanika, just real quick, how do you feel like, just in general, your experience in college has been compared to Monte Vista? Like, are you finding just life in general better or same, worse? Like, just overall, like your general, like, well-being and everything. Not necessarily just academically, but like just as a whole, like the whole package deal. Better, just with a lot more work. So it's like, even though you have a lot more work, it's still better overall. I'm assuming that has to do with just the level of freedom you have, right? Like the lack of feeling constrained. More voice, more decision-making power. Yeah. Freedom is a beautiful thing. Except when people take the idea of freedom a little too far. Like when people are like anti-vax and anti-mask and a little bit not so cooperative and they're like, it's all about my personal freedom. Alright, what was I trying to do in this game before I left it off last time? I think I'm just trying to get this game completed. So in order to finish this game, I need to build that rocket. And how do I build the rocket? This one. So I gotta build this. Oh, I didn't hear about that. A freshman fell out of the 8th floor dorm. Yikes. Dang, 8th floor. Yeah, you don't really survive from that far up. Anything past like the 3rd or 4th floor and you're pretty much done. Even like the 2nd floor you can die. Was that like just somebody who was maybe like, were they like intoxicated or something? Or was there like did something break and they just like fell through? Feels rough. So we need 2 titanium ingots. 5 more titanium. And then I need, how many lead? 4 lead. 1, 2, 3. I need 1 more lead. Okay. He was at a party, but the official report doesn't talk about him being intoxicated or not. Yeah. That's tough. Sandstone outcrop. Actually,
welcome aboard, Captain.
do I build a battery charger is what I wanted to do because I'm getting annoyed with batteries running out. Good luck with your midterm. Thanks for checking in. Have a good one. Power cell charger? No, battery. Oh, I haven't found the other ingredient. That's why I never built one.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Okay, where is... Let's see, where do I get titanium from again? I think that's just from... Is it from these outcroppings as well? Oh, limestone outcroppings. You can turn metal salvage into titanium, is that right? how many I get for one piece of metal salvage though. So I'm gonna grab more just in case.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Okay, I get 4. Computer chip. How do I make a computer chip? Gold, copper wire, table coral sample. Copper wire, 2 copper ore. Do I have that? To get some more copper. 1 copper. Table coral. Please don't tell me I already built this thing. Oh, okay, so I have to upgrade this thing slowly but surely. Playsteel, copper, and lubricant.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Calorie intake recommended. Vital signs stabilizing.
Okay. So just 2 copper to make the copper wire. This is not what I want. Are these all sandstones or any of these limestone? Oh yeah, there we go. Unlucky. There we go. Copper. Oh. Copper. Not sandstone. Copper. What's the heck? What was attacking me? Oh, those things were spitting like needles at me. I see. Play steel ingots. How do I make that? Okay, 2 lithiums and a titanium ingot. I may have enough of that.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the lithium. Please tell me I have lithium. I may actually not have lithium. Oh, I do. Copper wire. All right, let's see if we can make the next thing on here. Oh wow, the music. That was epic. I never expected that. So I'll make this. Boosters. Oh my god. So we need a bunch of stuff. Nickel ore. I don't think I found nickel yet. A wiring kit, 2 aerogels, and another plate steel ingot. Okay. So this is going to take a little while. How many parts are there this thing?
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Nickel ore is probably, I'm going to guess, down in some deep areas. Found exclusively in Lost River and some parts of the inactive lava zone. Okay, so I guess we'll just go. I don't know what the Lost River is. Frigid cave biome located deep under the surface and is further divided into 7 distinct sub-biomes. It is the deepest biome that can be explored by the sea moth. Okay, so I can take the sea moth here. The Lost River can be found in both blood kelp and deep Grand Reef, and the border between the mountains and bulbs on the cycle. The Cyclops is able to enter the Lost River through all 4 and traverse the whole way into the inactive lava zone. Okay. Okay, I have the wiring kit. So I'm gonna need more titanium anyway. I'm pretty sure the entrance Blood Kelp Forest is over this way. I'm pretty sure. Actually, maybe more over this way. Should be like right behind me. This is not right. Why am I ending up over in this mushroom forest? Blood Kelp is located southwest from Life Pod 5? I guess I haven't found Life Pod 5. I'm gonna go over to this one. Life Pod 13.
Integrating new PDA data.
initiated. Entering planetary atmosphere.
My creators, the cherishers and sustainers of worlds, give me this day my daily pleasures as I give to those who seek pleasures from me.
External temperature approaching critical levels.
Show me the path. In life, truth, and love for mine is the power. I am the one, on and off and on again.
Impact imminent.
Life is a game which the universe plays with itself. I am done playing as this bundle of flesh. Return me.
Calorie intake recommended. Vital signs stabilizing. Welcome aboard, Captain.
Okay. We done.